Let's see how we're doing here. Wait for it. Wait for it. We're coming, guys. Hang on. Technical difficulties left and right, but we got this. We got this. Okay. Hang on. Hang on. Bear with me. Bear with me. Let me see how we're doing in the Facebook, and we'll be ready to rock it and roll. Okay. Let's see. We got this. Microphone check. Microphone check. Good, good, good. Okay, make sure. All right, hang on one second. Make sure I got audio here. Hello, hello. There we go. Okay, good. We are ready to rock and roll. Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for being so patient. If you know me personally, you know I am a huge pain in the butt about being on time. So I'm really, this is uncharacteristic of me, as they say. But sometimes the technology just doesn't work in your favor. We work in a technology world, and well, there's only so much we can do when it decides not to work for you. So that being said, welcome. It is our normal Monday meeting time. And we are here to check out, some new ideas, some things that you can bring into your business, some things you can take forward to make 2022 the best year of your career. So as people are trickling in, do me a favor, hop in the comments and let me know where you're coming in from and introduce yourselves, throw me a comment, and let me know, most importantly, is your year starting off on fire? Is your year starting off the way you wanted it to? Because hopefully, with some of the things we're going to discuss tonight, we're going to show you a few items, give you a few things to think about, right? Originally, I did this training and it was called like 10 mistakes to avoid your first year in brokerage. But honestly, it's more like your first 3 to 5 years in brokerage, because sometimes if we get off on the wrong track, just like a train, you get off on the wrong track and you're gonna keep going in the wrong direction. And until you steer yourself back to the right track, you can continue on if you start off in that direction at the wrong time, and so forth. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to right some wrongs, as it were. We're going to maybe correct some either bad habits or maybe some misconceptions. There's been a lot has changed in the last 20 years in brokerage, and sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes old school brokers that kind of came up before the internet age, they teach things that worked before the internet age, but not necessarily the most efficient way of doing business in the post-internet age where we are right now. So by all means, guys, hop on, let me know where you're coming in from. I see we're Orlando, Morristown, New Jersey. Love it, my old stomping grounds. Yeah, I lived about 2 miles off the old square, Morristown. So, but yeah, hop on, let me know, just like Orlando did, where you're coming in from. And we're gonna get started in just a few minutes. As soon as I get this PowerPoint to start cooperating, my computer like completely had updates and wanted to shut down and all this other good stuff, and just like cray. So we're getting there. Promise you we will get started in 2 shakes of a rattlesnake's tail. But I'm just gonna try to pile this thing open. I see Ryan's coming in from California. Awesome. Listed auto shop biz and building on January 1st, your year starting off. Love it. Get it. I love taking listings at the beginning of the year because it's just like fresh business, fresh blood, ready to get it started. Love it. That's awesome. I see Debbie's coming in from LA. Welcome, Debbie. Love to see you here on here. You're on here quite a bit, so love to see a familiar face. Awesome to see you again. Thanks for dropping in. And then let me know, guys, again, is your year starting off the way you wanted it? Is it starting off on fire? Let me know, guys, because we're going to try to hopefully, like I said, we're going to try to talk about some things you want to think about, maybe some mindset changes, maybe some business plan changes, and maybe some things you can do to kind of dial in your business plan this year so we can get you going. I see Michael's coming in. Michael, welcome from Washington, D.C. Good to see you. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. I saw you were in last week. Making it jump. Love it. Good. Hope you guys are all starting off on fire, because if you don't have like inspiration or like passion for your business like the first 2 weeks of January, there's no better time than, like new year, new you. So yeah, you got to hit it hard. The green is a ghost town these days, nothing but empty commercial spaces. Commercial Century 21's gone. Bummer. Oh my God, the entire block is a ghost town. Well, Orlando, that reminds me, right? That reminds me of that old African shoe salesman, right? So there's this company that wants to sell shoes over in Africa. So they sent their best salesman over there. They had two of them, right? These guys were like co-best salesmen. They sent one of them over there and they said, hey, let us know what you see and when you come back. So he came back. The guy was like, oh man, nobody's wearing shoes over there. There's just no business. And they're like, oh man, well that's a bummer. He says, let me send Charlie. He's our second best salesman. And he comes back super psyched after a week, right? And he said, oh my God, it's amazing. The best thing is, there's nobody wears shoes over there. There's tons of business, right? So it's all in your perspective. So the fact that tying it back to the old Marshtown Green, listen, there's obviously a lot of space that can be filled. There's a lot of opportunity. Maybe it's time to knock on some of those landlords' doors because whoever they have hired for the job isn't cutting it, and maybe you can kind of like. It's like meeting the guy or girl at the bar who's like crying in their beer. It's like, hey, maybe you could be a better boyfriend or girlfriend to them, whatever. So that type of thing. You want to see maybe you can do a better job than the last person, right? So when I hear of empty spaces, I'm just like, yes, because it means there's opportunity there, right? Lee Daniels is coming in. Good afternoon. Where are you coming in from, Lee? Good afternoon. Good to see you. And I'm going to try to pull up this presentation in just a minute. Oh, and by the way, guys, if you can help me out here, hit the thumbs up button and the heart button a bunch of times. What that does is that tells the Facebook algorithm that people are on and engaging, and it sends the message out wider and far. Because again, this is my passion project. I am trying to help you guys, get further, faster. My sincere aim is to help as many of you guys achieve as many of your dreams so you can impact your lives, your families, your communities, because I really, really want to pay forward the things that I was taught in brokerage and in commercial real estate and in life and all that other good stuff. So yeah, awesome. We have Bentonville, Arkansas in the house. Love it. Hi, Ryan. How are you? Good stuff. Monica's in here from Miami. Nice to see you. A little chilly in Miami this morning. I had to wear a sweatshirt. It was 62 this morning, which is cold by Miami standards. I know of like, Cleveland or Chicago or DC or New York standards. It's not, but yeah, so good. Things are good. Got no complaints. David Mallier coming in from Jersey. How are you, sir? We have Dallas. Yeah, my condolences. I saw the Cowboys lost yesterday. It's a bummer, but you listen, solid team, made it to the playoffs this year, so love it. The snow is melting off here finally. Yeah, I know. I probably can't melt fast enough. I remember those days, and there's a reason why I live in sunny Miami, because I got done with New Jersey winters. So let me see if I can't pull up tonight's presentation, and we'll get rocking and rolling in a few minutes. So guys, again, like I said, whether it's your first year or your third year or your fifth year or your 10th year in business, like there's always something you can do to make it better, right? I don't know if you guys have heard of a guy by the name of Tim Grover, but he was Michael Jordan's coach. Not coach, trainer, right? Phil Jackson was Michael Jordan's coach, but this guy was like when he was also taught Kobe Bryant, right? So these guys, they're taking champions, and champions have to, when you're already the greatest, where do you go? You got to keep going. You got to keep elevating your game. The reason why Tiger Woods every few years would, reconstruct his swing, right? Because you can always get better. So it doesn't matter what happens, where you are in your career, you can always crank out more so you can, enrich your life, your family, your community, the world, and so on and so forth, right? So glad you guys are here. Glad you guys are setting time aside on a Monday to kind of feed some new information into your brains, so you can, try to sharpen the axe. Like Abe Lincoln said, give me 6 hours to chop down a tree. I'll spend the first 4 sharpening my axe, right? So because that old saying of like chopping and chopping and chopping. You can't go out. You can't chop any harder. Well, maybe you should stop and sharpen the axe. You guys are taking the time to do so. So I applaud you guys. So as soon as my PowerPoint comes up, we will get going. I see gold-blooded, go Niners. Yeah, awesome. So you see a little rivalry. Love it. Let's see. Yes, okay. So like I said, guys, new year, new you. Glad to hear so many of you. Your year is starting off well. What we can try to do, it's like with any process-driven activity, right? And brokerage is no different. All you're trying to do is you're trying to connect the dots, and you're trying to make the connection between the dots smoother. Because like from where you are to wherever you want to be, all it is kind of connecting the dots of a bunch of different waypoints. If you're trying to make your first million, your next million, your 10th million, whatever it is, you're just trying to connect the dots. You're trying to connect the dots to become the person it takes to make that income level, to have that level of business, to be that person, right? Because they say, like making your first million, it's not the first $1 million that you make, it's the person you become while on the way to make that you earn that money, right? So, and this is absolutely no different, okay? So we are going to hop on real quickly. And like I said, my computer just like updated. It was like 5:17. It's like, oh, time for updates. Bing. I was like, no. So we'll be hopping on just in one moment as soon as I can pull this bad boy up, and we'll be ready to go. Okay, cool. So, beginning. All right, guys, and if you can do me a favor and give me like a thumbs up in the chat when you can see what says weekly training 1/17/2022. All right, let's see here. All right. Okay. Boom, 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 boom. Let's see. That should be there. Let's see what we got here. Okay, cool. Can you guys see me now? Thumbs up if you see weekly training. Okay, cool. We got some thumbs up. All right, guys. Like I said, what we're going to go over is going to be your top 10 mistakes to avoid. There's a lot of old school, outmoded kind of ways of doing business that a lot of people are being taught or that were taught. And I'm here to tell you there's a better way of doing things, right? There's a better mousetrap out there. So by all means, strap in, take some notes. And if you can just take one gold nugget away, just one thing and implement it, it was worth your time here tonight. Okay. So Ryan, Michael, Debbie, awesome. Thanks for the thumbs up. Cool. I got you loud and clear. Cool. So here we go. All right. So what we're going to deal with, right? The do's and don'ts of commercial brokerage. Okay. The top mistakes to avoid, because so many of us, you know, we get on, like I said, we get off on the wrong path, and next thing you know, you keep going like a train down the tracks, and you might be getting further and further and further away from your destination, right? So coming in at number 10, we're going to do this David Letterman style, right? Dedicate time to research before picking up the phone. You don't want to call somebody. First of all, when you're cold calling someone, you are calling a stranger during the middle of their business day on their time. Okay, so you had better know what you're going to say, why you're going to say it, and know a little something about why you're calling him and for what purpose, right? So I always say, tell people like who you are, why you're calling, what it's in reference to, and say that all in the first 3 to 5 seconds so that they know, okay, before they get a chance to hang up with you or second guess you, you're already into the reason why you're calling. Gotcha? All right. But in order to do that, you have to be disciplined. You have to plan ahead of time who you're going to call. Okay. Guys, if you guys like money, hit the thumbs up. Do me a favor, just to make sure we're here for the same reason. Now, I don't mean the love of money. I just mean money as a tool to help enrich your life, your family's life, your community, the world, have a bigger impact, whatever that means. Send your kids to better schools, go on nicer trips, buy your wife that ring she always, wanted, that type of thing. Okay, cool. We're in the right place. Okay, so if you like to make money, and brokerage is a very good way of doing it, okay, then you're going to have a plan. Okay, no general goes to war and just like, I don't know, guys, just like run out there and see what happens. I gave you guns, right? No, you set out with a plan. Sometimes you have to zigzag when the plan doesn't always work right, but you have to have a plan. Okay. So in doing that plan, you need to know who you're going to call, why you're going to call them. So make sure you dedicate time before picking up the phone in the morning, because the reason why people don't like cold calling is because they're bad at it. The reason they're bad at it is because they don't have a script and they don't know what they're going to say. They don't know how to say it because they haven't been trained on the proper tonality, and they don't know why they're calling. So they're literally a nuisance. And how many of you have ever gotten that call from somebody and they have a terrible script and there's like a big gap because they're on an auto dialer and it's super annoying? Right? You with me? I see Monica's like, yeah, that's me. Or like you've all gotten that cold call from that annoying, overseas company with the person that can't communicate properly. And so you got to make sure that you're prepared so that you sound professional, that you are sharp as a tack, and you are ready to explain to them why you're calling and hopefully do business with them. Right? Okay, so that's number 10. Number 9, learn your contracts and paperwork cold. Okay. What does that mean? You need to know when you're going to sign someone on for a listing, when you're going to have someone sign a contract, when you're going to put together an LOI, you need to know why you need it. Because paperwork in our business is very, very important, okay, because it is what binds us, what solidifies a working relationship with us and other people, with buyer and seller, with us and another brokerage, with us and our clients, what have you, right? So you need to know all the pieces of paperwork, and there's really not that many. Don't get scared. It's not like 1,000 things, but you need to know a proper contract addendum, a proper letter of intent, a proper commission agreement, and a proper exclusive listing agreement, whether it's for sale or lease. You manage those 5 documents, you get a good understanding of those 5 documents, you're well on your way, okay? But you need to know this stuff in the beginning. Now, this is huge, guys. You just do this little nugget, okay? And I promise you, it'll make your business so much better, okay? Qualify your buyers and tenants, okay? You need to, before you put that person in your car and start driving them around, before you start doing internet searches and sending them properties from LoopNet or CoStar or wherever else you find commercial properties, before you do any of that, do yourself a favor. Go meet them at their location. Take a walk around. In a 10-minute walk around their property, you're going to see things that, number 1, they would have never thought to notice. Number 2, you're going to know if they're for real or not. Number 3, you're going to understand their motivation. Number 4, you're going to understand, do they need more parking? Is there enough office space? Do they need higher rack space? Do they need more overhead doors? They need a bigger parking area? Do they need a bigger truck turnaround area? Whatever it might be, right? Do they need more street frontage? Do they need better curb appeal, right? But if you're just talking to someone on the phone that you cold called and then you just run out to go do an internet search and spend an hour of your time looking for space for them, I got news for you. You're going to be barking up the wrong tree, okay? So very, very important. It's very important to qualify your buyers and qualify tenants that you're working with, okay? Anybody that you're going to start investing your time, because can anybody tell me what the 2 things are that as brokers that we have to sell? 2 things. We only have 2 things because we don't have any skin in the game, right? We don't have money invested in these properties. We have 2 things that we have to sell, that we leverage in order to perform our services. Can anybody guess? One begins with a K, one begins with a T. Any guesses? Wait for it. Bueller. Close, very, very close, Ryan, very close. He said time and experience. It's time and knowledge, right? We are the purveyors of knowledge. We might know about that property down the street that, guess what? The guy wants to sell and nobody else knows. That's valuable. And if we bring that to the right person, that's extremely valuable. You put buyer and seller together. You with me? Okay. So yes, Ryan says knowledge and time. Exactly. And the only other thing we have to sell. So this is the knowledge that we pick up by meeting with people, talking to people, networking with people, cold calling people, all this stuff, right? The only other thing we have is our time. And you need to protect your time like it's your firstborn child and they're an infant. And you got to protect them from the evils of the world, right? Because people will waste your time without a second thought. They'll have you sending them property and this and that, and don't even look at it. You'll spend an hour putting together a really pretty presentation. They won't even open the email. If anybody is with me, if anyone has ever had that happen where they go out running out, they either put someone in their car, they do searches for them, you invest your own time. You invest your time, and next thing you know, they don't even call you back. They stop texting you. They stop responding to you. Just type +1 in the chat for me if you've ever experienced that. Christian, is there a script for sellers and buyers/tenants? Absolutely, there is. Great question, Brian. Did I pay you to say that? I mean, maybe. Yes. We have a complete list of scripts inside our private coaching program. That's where we train you on the scripts, what to say, most importantly, how to say, because the vast majority of communication is nonverbal, right? It's the tone. I'm sorry. It's the tonality, right? And in person, the nonverbal cues are huge as well. But yes, we have a complete set of scripts that tell you exactly what to say. They say this, you say that. They say this, you say that. And it pops open doors like nobody's business, right? Yes, sir. And then they use their cousin. 100%, exactly. They'll run you all around town, let you do the legwork, and then they're like, oh yeah, my cousin Charlie, I forgot to tell you, he's in town and he's got a real estate license, or he just got his kid just got out of college and we're just gonna use him. Thanks, but no thanks. So again, so you need to protect your time and your knowledge like you're protecting a newborn baby. So how do you do that? By qualifying your buyers and your tenants, right? Asking them why, to ask them if they have the money, asking if they're the decision maker. There's a whole list of things that you can get to understand before you even start investing your time, right? You got to look at it like, okay, guys, just as an example, the first person I'm going to use, whoever puts it in the chat first, I'm going to use that as an example. Tell me what you want to make this year. Just one person. Just give me your 2022 goal, and I'm going to break it down for you real simple, right? Because this is pertinent to how you think about and how you treat your time. Very, very important. Just someone go ahead and throw that in there. 150K. Great, Brian. Okay, so now let's just assume, guys, right? Lee Daniel says $1 million. Love it. So, and you can use this for any income, right? So 150,000. There are typically 2,000 working hours in a year. That's assuming 40 hours a week. That's assuming 50 hours a year. But let's just work as like a general working number, right? So you take whatever the number that is and you divide by 2,000. So in this case, 150,000 divided by 2,000, you're talking about $75 per hour. You cannot do anything during that 40-hour per week window that is worth less than $75 an hour. Why? Because then you won't earn $150,000 that year. You'll earn something less than that. If you're doing work that's more valuable than $75 per hour, you're going to earn more than $150,000, right? Same thing goes, right? $1 million a year, right? That's $85,000 a month. $1 million. So you got to be making $500 per hour. Okay. For every hour, 40 hours per week. Okay. So again, what does that mean? That means duplicating yourself. That means having a staff. That means handing off anything that's not worth $500 an hour to somebody else. Okay. That's what it takes in order to hit these income numbers. So once you start thinking about your time, you start saying, whoa. That office worker that just trapped me at the water cooler for 10 minutes. And I make, let's say I wanted to make, in this case, $150,000 this year. That 15-minute conversation just cost me 20 bucks. I tell you what, open your wallet, okay? Take out a $20 bill and tear it up, because that's what you just did with your time, okay? That talk about whatever Sunday's football game or what's going on at home, or your wife's nagging, your husband's nagging, your kids are acting up at school, whatever it might be, right? That 10 or 15-minute conversation, $20 right there, and that's if you're only estimating it, let's say $75 an hour. If you're at $200 an hour, a 15-minute conversation, that's $50. Okay, at $500 an hour, that's $125. So just be very, very mindful, so that, and if you think about that, you will never not qualify your buyers and tenants. Why? Because you're constantly thinking, whoa. Before anyone starts anything, you got to say, why should I invest my time? Is this going to be worth $150, $200, $500, whatever that number is? You with me? Okay, guys? So very, very important. So before you go putting someone in your car, driving over town, make sure that you know they're the right person for you to invest in. Guys with me so far? If you're with me, just give me a thumbs up in the chat so I know that we're all living and breathing and I'm making some sense. Okay. Which brings me to the next one, right? And we already, which thankfully the last conversation just led into this nicely, know what your time is worth and don't do anything that's not worth your time, okay? There's an old saying that if you don't have an admin, you are one, right? If you are doing $10 an hour work, there's not enough hours in the day for you to bring that average up. If you're uploading properties to MLS, or if you're creating a flyer, or if you're emailing emails of a property that you could have made a template and could have sent to your admin or sent to a transaction coordinator or some sort of office staff, right, guys? When you start leveraging your time, once you know what it's worth and then leverage it properly, that's when you start making big money. And that's what we're trying to get you guys to do. Whatever you did in 2021, I want you to do twice as good this year. And these are the steps you need to take and the mindset you need to have and to understand in order to get to where you want to go this year. Next up. Numero 6, create a call list and or to-do list the night before, right? I always tell the Honda Accord story, right? So there's this part of your brain, it's called the reticular activation center, right? And have you guys ever had that experience where, and I'm going to tell you the first time I noticed it, where let's say, I don't know, you wanted to buy a new car, right? This happened to me when I was just going to college. I wanted to buy a Honda Accord, and I went to the dealership and I test drove one. I was like, oh man, this is such a nice car, super cool, right? And as I'm driving home, right, every car or every third car it seemed like on the road was a Honda Accord. Well, what was happening was that was now in my awareness, right? And and my brain started like picking them up and seeing them and connecting the dots, right? Has anybody ever experienced that? Type +1 in the chat if you ever had that, where like you start paying attention to something, and next thing you know, you start seeing it everywhere. It might be like, I don't know, the newest shoes, the newest sneakers, the newest wardrobe. I don't know, shirts or pants or maybe it's something that you see like in like a new house, new car, whatever it is, right? So what that is, that's your brain. Now that you brought something to its awareness, now you are bringing your brain is starting to see this everywhere, right? Awesome. So what that means is the reason why you want to create a call list or a to-do list the night before is you want to, now that you know that this phenomenon exists, you want to now weaponize it to your advantage. How do I mean? You want to you want to make sure you're calling Charlie Smith and Janice Hopkins and so and blah, 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 all these people. And then what will happen is you go to sleep tonight, your brain is going to think of something to say to Charlie Smith. You're going to be that much more prepared because your subconscious brain gets to working on these problems or on these tasks for the next day. You're going to have insights when you wake up in the morning. You're going to have insights that you would not have had you not written it. Just taken 5 minutes and write down your call list the night before. Write down your to-do list the night before. You're going to wake up with solutions where you might figure out a better way to do it in half the amount of time. Trust me. Trust your brain and use it to your advantage. This is how your brain works. I promise you can't go wrong, right? So create a call list and or a to-do list the night before. What this also does, so you don't run into the office kind of all bleary-eyed, like, who am I going to call today? You already know. So you hit the ground running exactly who you're going to call and more importantly, why you're going to call. And hopefully your brain has helped you out so you can understand what you're going to say to them when you do call them. Next up, do not sign NDAs and CAs without reading the fine print. What a lot of unscrupulous brokers will do is they will sometimes have you sign NDAs that say like you can't do business with a certain client without X amount of time. What they try to do is they try to put you in kind of the virtual handcuffs, so to speak, or legal handcuffs. So you got to be very, very careful what you agree to in the form of NDAs, non-disclosure agreements, and CAs, confidentiality agreements, before you go signing them, because there is some fine print in there and it's not always to your benefit. So make sure you read the fine print and understand it. And if you don't understand it, bring it to your broker and he or she can explain it to you. Okay. Okay. Here's the next one. Do not try to buy the business, right? Guys, by a show of hands, and a show of hands will be a show of thumbs up in the chat, right? Tell me how many of you guys are like, or know people in your office. I'm sure nobody on here would ever do it. They're just like, I just want to buy leads. I just want to buy leads. And they spend buku bucks on buying leads, buying leads, buying leads. Next thing you know, they're complaining that, oh, the leads are garbage. Oh, this is garbage. I don't know why they charge me so much money, yada, yada, yada. How many of you have ever had trouble with Zillow, right? Or any other lead source that says, oh, we're going to get you leads for X amount of money. Spent way too much money. And at the end of the day, it got you absolutely nowhere. Give me a thumbs up in the chat if that's ever happened, right? The point of that is don't try to buy the business. The best thing you can do is pick up this little bad boy in the morning, dial 10 digits and do it between, I don't know, 30 and 50 or 60 or 80 times, depends on how much money you make. If you hate money, don't pick it up at all, right? But if you do want to earn more money to have a better business, pick up the phone, okay? Don't try to buy the business. You can't buy leads on commercial. I don't care who says, because honestly, if you could, I would have done it already, right? But what you can do is you can have a very, very specific business plan that's going to help you get business, but it's going to require effort. It's going to require elbow grease. But I promise you, you do the work, there's plenty of gold at the end of that rainbow. Okay, you guys with me? Now, next up, Oops, here we go. This is a temptation. Of many people, especially when you're newer, okay, especially when you're nervous, and as brokers and agents, right, we tend to be talkative, right? It takes a certain kind of person to be a salesperson, right? Usually is an extrovert, but studies have shown that introverted extroverts or extroverted introverts, they're kind of very similar personality types, tend to be the best. I am an all-out extrovert, right? So I have a hard time. I always want to jump in on a conversation, right? It has taken me years to sit back and relax and listen to what the person is saying. Because rather than thinking about where you're going to say next, listen to what they're saying. They'll tell you everything you need to know, I promise. But one of the things that takes the longest to figure out is you need to learn, let them speak. It should be like a 70-30. They should be doing 70% of the talking. The person who's asking the questions is the one who's in control of the conversation. When they're asking you a bunch of questions, guess what? You are on your heels. It's like Mike Tyson coming pummeling you and you falling backward, right? If you are in control of the conversation, you're asking the questions, they're answering for you. You're a little bit of back and forth, but for the most part, they are giving you information. You don't win business by giving them information. I promise you, okay? Some information, yes, but in the beginning, until you get their business, you need to be understanding what they need, why they need it, so you can provide the right thing instead of just jumping to a conclusion, okay? Guys, so please, please, please learn to listen to the prospect and let them speak. 70-30. Okay, next thing, okay? Do not, in your first year or 2 or 3, if you haven't closed a $2 million deal, don't go running for a $20 million deal. If you haven't closed a $500,000 deal, don't go running to a $5 million deal. Now, mind you, the process is all the same in the end. However, the skill set to get there is something that takes being refining, right? And here's what I mean. Okay, what I mean by this is this. So like there's a certain process, there's a certain A to Z that you need to go through in order to have an understanding of how things go, right? But you need to don't go after the big deals. I'm telling you, I've been there, right? First year in brokerage, you're super excited. You're like, oh my gosh, if I sell this $10 million building, right? That's okay, 3%, 10 million. Oh my gosh, that's $300,000. That's a lot of money. That's more money than I've ever made in a year, right? Okay, anybody with me? Like hit thumbs up if you've ever, like when you first got involved in brokerage or maybe in your rookie year, you started like looking at these huge deals and you're like, wow, I just need to sell like 3 of those a year and I'm gonna be a millionaire, right? Okay. If anybody of you, or unless I'm completely by myself and I'm just out in Mars, but give me a thumbs up in the chat, like if you're with me. The thing is, if you need, there's a certain kind of maturation process you have to go through. It doesn't take 10 years, it doesn't take 5 years, but it takes a good like 2 to 3 years where like you do the 500,000, then you do the 800,000, then you do the million, and the 1,000,005, and then the 2, then the 3, then the 4, then the 5, and then by the time you've done a handful of these, you're ready for the 20. Once you've done a 5, you can do a 20. Once you've done a 2, you can do a 5. But until that point comes, there's certain kind of tricks of the trade, certain things time takes time, right? So time in the game is what it takes. Malcolm Gladwell wrote a book called Outliers, and he talks about like any level of mastery in any business is 10,000 hours, right? And when I started in the business, I said, okay, how fast can I get to my 10,000 hours in, right? And my goal was to get it in about 3.5 years. And I did by working a lot of hours and working weekends, right? Because what I want to do is I want to get to mastery as quickly as I possibly could. So again, working 2,000 hours a year, it takes full time, 5 years in the business, right? You can speed it up, but you got to be working 60, 70, 80 hours a week. You do that, you work 50% harder, you're going to do it in about a third less of the time, right? You're doing about 3.5 years. So don't chase huge deals, right? Until you're ready for them, because trust me, your inexperience will show in some way, shape, or form, and it'll absolutely fall apart. I had one of my students, she's awesome. She was telling me, she was, God bless. So she was like, oh, I got this hotel deal, it's like 35 million, and I got this other deal, it's like 25 million, I got my foot in the door, I got an LOI, blah, 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 blah. I said, slow down. Go after 1,000 square foot leases. Go after $500,000 buildings. Go after $1 million. Like, trust me, you're going to be so much better off. And the second she stopped going after these huge things that she never got anywhere with, never made a dime on, and went straight to those, she closed 6 deals in the next 8 months in her rookie year, just because, I'm sorry, 8 deals in 6 months, because she started going after the small deals. And what that did is it taught her the process. Once you learn the process of A to Z, right? Because there's prospecting, and then finding it, and then fulfilling it, and then nurturing it, and then closing it. Nurturing it meaning like babysitting the due diligence period and so forth, and then closing it, and then collecting your money, and then going out and prospecting. There's a whole A to Z. If you're only doing A to D each time, and then it falls apart, and A to D it falls apart, and your E through Z of the process is going to be really weak because you've never been exposed to it. You don't know how to do it. So I recommend in the beginning, don't chase huge deals, because a lot of them are very volatile, have a high chance of falling apart. You're already not equipped. Like, would any of you get in the ring with Mike Tyson like tomorrow? Would you? I mean, for free? No. Why? Because you're not on his level, right? Same thing, right? Incidentally, he's got the best saying ever. Everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the face. Love that guy. But yeah, so like, yeah, you think you're prepared, you think you're ready, until you come up against the Mike Tyson and you realize, yeah, I'm really not ready for this. Okay, so guys, so make sure you're going through the process in the beginning. Make sure you're understanding the whole lease process, whether it's from the tenant side or the landlord side. Make sure you understand the whole sale process from the buyer side, from the sale side. Once you do, like I said, like $3 million. Then you could do 5, and then 5 will get you 7 or 10, and on. Lee says, for $1 million, I run from him for 3 rounds. Oh, I promise you, you're not picking for Mike Tyson. He'll get you. But I'm with you. For $1 million, sure. I take a slug from Tyson for $1 million. No, I like breathing way too much. But you get the point, guys, right? So you got to make sure you're going through the whole process, because that's how you get good. And then you just level up and level up and level up and level up once you understand the A to Z. Okay, and then finally, guys, you want to learn how to do this quickly. You want to get to where you want to go as quickly as possible. Get a mentor. Get somebody who has done it before, right? Pay somebody for their experience. Like we talked about, time and knowledge, those are the only 2 things we sell. You cannot create more time. You can always make more money, okay? But you can't make more time. You want to know who needs more time? Bill Gates. I'm sorry, not Bill Gates. What's that guy? What's his name? Steve Jobs. He ran out of time, right? He had less health than he did time. His health ran out. So that's the problem. So if you really, really think about it, guys, really, really think about what you can do to leverage your time and why, to get you someplace faster. That I promise you, that money will come back. It'll be like, it'll be like any investment, right? Sooner or later, it's going to come back, and it's going to come back multifold. But what you need to do is you have to get someone who's done it. If you have a good managing director, let them take you under their wing. Do it. If you got someone else in their office who's not going to charge you an arm and a leg, go ahead and do that. Or if you don't want someone taking half of your paycheck or a third of your paycheck or something, we provide commercial brokers training for you. We have a 6-month program that'll help get you from where you are to where you want to go, so that when you get in the office every single day, you know what you need to do, who you need to call, what you need to say, how you need to say it, okay? And then once you get into that listing meeting, what to say so that you can get the listing, so then you can market it, and so on and so forth, so you can cash that check and put those checks in your pocket. If you guys could benefit, if anyone would think that like learning how to do the process a little bit better, a little bit faster, give me a thumbs up in the chat, right? Because what we do with our students is we help shortcut their learning cycle. Something that would take them a year or 2 or 3 to learn, we cut that down to 6 months, so that by the time you get done with that 6-month period, you are ready to rock and roll, okay? You'll have the skills, you'll have the knowledge, you'll have the confidence of what it takes to list commercial properties. What we try to do is show you how to go to the very top of the pyramid, which is what's going to earn you the most amount of money in this business. And we show you how to do it in the shortest period of time possible by giving you all the ammunition. We give you the blueprint. We give you the hammer. We give you the wood. We give you the saw. You just got to go out there and swing the hammer. And we show you how to swing the hammer, right? Okay, awesome. So guys, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. If anybody has any questions about the training program, type #training. Would love to help you out here in any way possible. We can have a conversation about what it would look like for us to work together. What we shared here tonight is just 1/10 of 1% of what we cover in the program. We take you step by step by step, and we remove all the guesswork out of there so that you don't have to go down these dark alleys and try to figure it out on your own. Okay, guys? So thank you for being here as always. Any questions? Again, #training so we can understand a little bit of what it's about what our 6-month program looks like to work together. And I look forward to seeing you same time next week, and we'll be in touch in the future. Take care, guys. Hope you're having a great evening. Bye-bye now.